The mirror moved first. It all started on a Thursday night when the power went out. I lit a candle and walked through the quiet hallway of my grandmother's old house. The floorboards creaked beneath my feet, and my shadow danced wildly on the walls. At the end of the corridor stood that tall, antique mirror, one that had belonged to her for decades. It was framed in dark wood carved with twisting faces, each one staring back at me. I glanced into it casually, expecting to see only my reflection, but what I saw froze my blood. My reflection blinked before I did. That was the first time I realized the mirror moved first. I laughed nervously and shook my head. It had to be my imagination. Maybe the candlelight was flickering in a strange way. But when I leaned in closer, I saw my reflection breathing heavier than me, its chest rising and falling out of sync. I stepped back, my hands trembling. A drop of wax fell from the candle, landing on the floor. And then, slowly, my reflection tilted its head in the opposite direction, studying me like I was the stranger. That's when my heart whispered, "Run." But I didn't. I just stood there, trapped in silence. Because the mirror had moved first. The next morning, the mirror looked normal. It reflected the sunlight perfectly. And I began to convince myself it was all just stress. My grandmother used to say that mirrors were doors for souls that lost their way. I never believed her old stories until that day. As I cleaned the dust off the frame, my hand moved right to left. But the one in the glass stayed still, staring directly into my eyes. My skin went cold. I whispered to it, "What are you?" The reflection smiled. The mirror moved first. I tried covering it with a white sheet that night. I didn't want to see it. But when I woke up at 3:17 a.m., the cloth was gone, lying neatly folded at my feet. My reflection was awake, standing upright while I was sitting up in bed. It was breathing heavily, fogging the glass. Behind it, I saw movement, shadows shifting as if something else lived inside that reflection world. I wanted to scream. But my throat locked up. A whisper echoed from the glass, repeating in a low tone, "Trade." And for the first time, I saw a handprint press against the inside of the mirror. The mirror moved first. Over the next few days, things worsened. Whenever I walked by, I'd catch a glimpse of movement even when I wasn't facing it. My reflection would sometimes look away, as if distracted by something behind me. My house began feeling smaller, colder, filled with static electricity. Lights flickered whenever I passed that hallway. One night, I noticed blood on the mirror's frame, thin streaks, as if something sharp had been dragged across it. I wiped it off. But the next morning, the blood was there again. Not dried. Still wet. The mirror moved first. My friend Maria came over. I didn't want to sound insane. But I told her something was wrong with the mirror. She laughed until she saw it herself. She waved at her reflection, and it didn't wave back. Then, slowly, it began waving after she stopped. Maria backed away, tears welling in her eyes. The reflection's mouth started opening wider and wider until its jaw cracked unnaturally. The candle flickered out. The whole house went dark. Maria ran, shouting my name. But when I turned to follow her, my reflection stayed where it was, watching me. The mirror moved first. I decided to get rid of it. I dragged the mirror into the backyard and smashed it with a hammer. The sound was deafening, like screaming metal. Shards scattered everywhere. For a moment, I felt relief until I looked down. In every piece of shattered glass, my reflection was still there, blinking independently. Some smiled, some frowned, some whispered soundless words. I swept them up, threw them in a box. and buried it deep in the ground. But that night, when I came back inside, the mirror was hanging in the hallway again, completely whole. The mirror moved first. Sleep became impossible. I could hear faint whispers echoing from the mirror, like static mixed with laughter. I taped black paper over it. But the paper began peeling off on its own. I even tried praying. But as soon as I said amen, my reflection mouthed something back, perfectly in sync, except the words were reversed. I couldn't understand. But I knew it was mocking me. Sometimes, at night, the sound of fingernails scratching glass filled the air. The mirror moved first. That night, I had a dream, or maybe it wasn't a dream. I saw myself standing in the mirror's world, where everything was gray and silent. My reflection stood beside me, whispering in my ear, "Your turn." It pointed toward my bedroom, where my real body was lying asleep. Then it smiled, my smile, and said, "You'll wake up on this side soon." When I jolted awake, the mirror was glowing faintly. I ran to it and saw only my empty room inside the reflection. I wasn't there. The mirror moved first. Days passed without rest. I started losing track of time. My reflection seemed healthier while I grew weaker, my eyes hollow, my skin pale. I stopped eating. I stopped talking to people. Even my voice sounded different. Every time I blinked, I thought I saw my reflection stepping closer. I covered it again. But every morning, the cover was gone. Then one morning, there were two reflections in the glass. One was me. The other was something standing right behind me. The mirror moved first. That thing was tall, faceless, dripping with shadow. It had no eyes, no mouth. But somehow I knew it was smiling. It placed its hand on my reflection's shoulder. And suddenly the reflection began shaking violently, and if being controlled. Then both of them looked up, directly at me. I screamed and threw the candle. The fire flickered across the glass for just a second. And I saw them both step backward, disappearing into darkness. I thought I was safe. I wasn't. That night, something cold touched my shoulder. I turned. Nothing. But in the mirror behind me, it was standing there. The mirror moved first. I called a priest. He refused to enter the hallway. He said the air felt wrong. He left a small silver cross and told me to keep it close. That night, the cross melted into liquid silver, dripping onto the floor. I dropped to my knees and begged, "What do you want?" The reflection leaned closer, its lips brushing the glass from the inside. It whispered, "To live." And before I could move, its hand burst through the glass, slicing my arm open. The mirror moved first. Blood poured from the wound as I stumbled back. The hand retreated, leaving a smear of blood on the glass, my blood, and yet it shimmered, alive. My reflection smiled again, holding its own uninjured hand up proudly as if showing what it had taken. My arm burned for hours. That night, my veins started turning black where the cut had been. The infection spread fast, but it wasn't infection. It was the mirror trying to claim me. The mirror moved first. I decided to end it all. I carried the mirror outside once more and set it ablaze with gasoline. Flames consumed it, black smoke filling the air. I laughed, screamed, cried, it felt like freedom. But when the fire went out, the mirror was untouched. Not even warm. My reflection looked calm now, peaceful even. It mouthed two words I couldn't ignore, "You're next." The mirror moved first. By then, my reflection had stopped copying me completely. It lived its own life. Sometimes it walked away from the glass entirely, leaving an empty room behind. Once, I saw it standing beside my bed while I was awake. It looked down at me with pity. "You shouldn't have watched," it whispered. Then it stepped back into the mirror. The air smelled like rotten flowers. The mirror moved first. I tried smashing every mirror in the house, every reflective surface. But reflections found me anyway, in windows, in water, even in my eyes. Once, I saw it waving from my own pupils. I screamed until my throat bled. But nobody heard. The sound was trapped between both worlds. That's when I knew, the mirror didn't need to move anymore. I did. The mirror moved first. I left the house. I moved to another city. I thought distance would protect me. But mirrors are everywhere, hotel bathrooms, store windows, even car mirrors. I caught glimpses of myself moving before I did. Once, at a red light, I turned my head, and my reflection in the car window didn't. It just stared straight ahead with a faint grin. I covered every mirror I could. But it didn't matter. The mirror moved first. Now, I record this story for anyone who will listen. If you ever notice your reflection lagging or moving too soon, destroy it. Don't look twice. Don't blink. It's not a glitch. It's not tired eyes. It's the beginning. Because the moment you see your reflection move before you, the deal has already started. The mirror moved first. Sometimes, at night, I still hear tapping, 3 soft knocks from behind the glass. I never answer, never look. But curiosity is dangerous. One night, I peeked again. My reflection was gone. The mirror showed only my empty room. I turned to leave. But then I heard a voice behind me whisper, "Finally." That was the last sound I heard before everything went black. The mirror moved first. If you find this recording, don't look in any mirrors for at least 7 days. Cover them, break them, avoid them. Because something waits on the other side, something patient, cold, and hungry for a soul to replace. Remember my warning, once you notice it, you've already been chosen. And when it's ready to cross, there will be no sound, no scream, only silence. And a reflection that smiles first. Because no matter what you do, the mirror always moves first.